What if I told you that Think and Grow Rich, one of the most famous books ever written about success, was never really about money at all? You might stop and think, wait, what do you mean? Isn't that the whole point of the book? And that's exactly what makes this so interesting. Almost everyone who reads Think and Grow Rich thinks it's about getting rich, building wealth, and making millions. But the truth is, Napoleon Hill's real message goes far beyond dollars and bank accounts. It's about something much deeper, something invisible, yet powerful enough to shape your entire life. It's about belief. Think about this for a second. Every great achievement in human history, every invention, every business, every movement, started as a thought, just an idea in someone's mind. But that idea only turned into reality because that person believed it could. Belief is like a seed. You plant it in your mind, and with time, it grows into something real. Without belief, that seed dies before it ever has a chance to bloom. That's what Napoleon Hill was really talking about when he said, whatever the mind can conceive, believe, it can achieve. It wasn't just a nice quote, it was a law of life. But here's where people get lost. When they hear Think and Grow Rich, they focus on the word rich. They think it means getting more money, buying cars, living in mansions, and showing off success. But when Hill wrote that book during the Great Depression, his message wasn't about greed. It was about hope. People had nothing, no jobs, no savings, no sense of control over their future. Hill wanted to teach them something that no one could take away, the power to change their lives through their thoughts and beliefs. Money, he said, is just one kind of richness. But real wealth starts in the mind. It starts with how you see yourself and what you believe you deserve. If you don't believe you can do something, you'll never take the steps to make it happen. You'll doubt yourself. You'll make excuses. You'll wait for someday. But if you do believe truly, deeply, and completely, you'll find a way, even when the odds are against you. That's how all great success stories begin, with belief, not money. So, let me ask you something. What do you believe about yourself? Do you believe you can build a better life? Do you believe you deserve success? Or do you secretly think you're not good enough, not smart enough, or not lucky enough? Because the truth is, what you believe decides what kind of life you live. If you believe you can't, you won't. If you believe you can, you'll start acting in ways that make it true. Napoleon Hill spent over 20 years studying the richest and most successful people in America, people like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Andrew Carnegie. And he discovered one thing they all had in common. It wasn't education. It wasn't background. It wasn't even hard work. It was a burning belief, an unshakable faith in their own vision. They acted like success was already theirs, even when no one else believed in them. That's what separated them from everyone else, and that's the part most people miss. You can read every success book, take every course, watch every motivational video, but if you don't believe in yourself, none of it will stick. Your actions will always follow your beliefs. The mind is like a magnet. Whatever you hold inside, confidence or fear, abundance or doubt, you attract more of it. So, before we dive into the secrets inside Think and Grow Rich, I want you to promise yourself one thing: keep an open mind. Forget everything you've been told about the book being just about money, because once you understand what it's really about, you'll start seeing opportunities where others see problems. You'll start feeling powerful where you used to feel stuck. And you'll start realizing that your greatest wealth has been with you all along in your thoughts, your beliefs, and your ability to shape your reality. And here's my promise to you. If you stay with me till the end of this video, I'll share something that will completely change the way you look at success. A simple idea that will help you build belief, like the people Napoleon Hill studied. The kind of belief that doesn't just bring money, but freedom, peace, and purpose. Because once you understand that, Think and Grow Rich is really about mastering your mind, not your wallet. Everything else in your life starts to change. So get ready, because we're about to uncover the truth behind one of the most misunderstood books in history. And once you see it, you'll never look at success or yourself the same way again. Let's start with the biggest misunderstanding of all. The idea that Think and Grow Rich is a book about money. That's what almost everyone believes when they first hear the title. It sounds like a promise. Think the right thoughts and you'll become rich. Simple, right? But here's the problem. People stop reading too soon. They see the word rich and immediately think of cars, houses, luxury, and fame. They never realize that Napoleon Hill wasn't talking about cash in your pocket. He was talking about something far more powerful: the way your mind creates your world. When Hill wrote this book back in 1937, the world was in chaos. The Great Depression had crushed the economy. People had lost their jobs, their homes, and their hope. For many, money felt like an impossible dream. But instead of writing a manual about business or investing, Hill did something different. He studied the greatest minds of his time, people who had achieved massive success, and asked, what do they all have in common? 2. What makes one person succeed while another person fails, even when they start from the same place? The answer he found wasn't money, education, or luck. It was mindset. It was belief. It was the way successful people think. They see problems differently. They hold on to goals longer. They act even when they're afraid. Most importantly, they believe in something before there's any proof it will work. That's the foundation of everything Hill teaches. Your thoughts shape your reality. But let's be honest, most of us have been raised to think the other way around. We're told that success comes first and belief comes later. I'll believe it when I see it, right? But Hill flips that idea completely. He says, you'll see it when you believe it. That might sound like a simple phrase, but it's a game changer. Because if you wait to believe until after something happens, you'll be waiting forever. The people who actually succeed are the ones who believe first, even when there's no sign of success yet. And that's where most readers get lost. They think Hill is talking about money because he uses the word rich. But if you read closely, he actually defines riches in many forms: peace of mind, strong relationships, personal freedom, love, and joy. He says financial wealth is only one piece of the puzzle, and often not the most important one. You can be rich in purpose, rich in happiness, and rich in self-respect, long before your bank account grows. Here's the key lesson: money is a result, not the goal. It's a reflection of the thoughts and beliefs you hold inside. That's why people who focus only on chasing money usually end up frustrated. They're trying to fix the outer world without changing the inner one. They're like someone trying to change their reflection in the mirror by scratching the glass. But if you want the image to change, you have to change yourself first. Napoleon Hill wanted readers to understand that real wealth starts in the invisible world, in your thoughts, your emotions, and your mindset. He wrote, our only limitations are those we set up in our own minds. Think about that. Most people live inside invisible walls made of fear, doubt, and excuses. They don't see those walls, but they feel them every day. I can't do that. I'm not smart enough. It's too late for me. Those thoughts become beliefs, and those beliefs become reality. But once you break those mental walls, your life opens up. Suddenly, you start to notice chances you've missed before. You meet people who share your vision. You feel more confident taking risks. It's not magic. It's your mind aligning with what you truly want. Hill's entire message can be summed up in one idea. Before you grow rich in life, you must grow rich in thought. So, when people say Think and Grow Rich is a money book, they're missing the real treasure. The title doesn't mean think and get money. It means think and grow rich in every part of life. Because once you master your thoughts, money becomes one of the many rewards, not the purpose. And that's what we're going to explore next, what Napoleon Hill's true message was. The real meaning behind his ideas, and why belief is the secret power that changes everything. Steps. Napoleon Hill's true message was never about teaching people how to make money. It was about teaching them how to create beliefs so strong that reality would have no choice but to follow. He wasn't a financial advisor. He wasn't a businessman handing out formulas for quick success. He was a philosopher of the mind. Hill spent more than 20 years studying over 500 of the most successful people in America. He interviewed Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, and many others. What he found was surprising. None of them became successful because they had money to begin with. Most of them started with nothing. But every single one of them had one thing in common. They believed in themselves long before the world did. To understand Hill's real message, we have to go back to his time. The 1930s were not easy years. America was broken. Banks were collapsing. Millions were unemployed. People didn't need financial advice, they needed hope. Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich to remind people that even when the outside world is falling apart, the inside world, your thoughts, your faith, your belief, is still in your control. He wanted people to see that wealth isn't something you chase, it's something you create from within. Hill learned this idea from Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men of his time. Carnegie told him that anyone, no matter their background, could achieve success if they followed a certain mental formula, a way of thinking that turned ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. That's what Hill dedicated his life to discovering. He wanted to find out how belief, desire, and persistence could transform a person's future. And through years of interviews and study, he discovered that success follows a pattern, and that pattern begins in the mind. Hill called it a definite chief aim. In simple words, it means having one clear, burning purpose that you think about every single day. He said that people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack direction. They drift through life without a strong belief in something bigger. But those who have a clear goal, something they truly believe in, begin to attract opportunities that move them closer to it. That goal becomes like a magnet, pulling them toward success. Another one of Hill's key ideas was the mastermind, PH. He believed no one succeeds alone. The mastermind is the power that appears when two or more people work together, with harmony and belief in a shared goal. Hill said that when like-minded people come together with positive energy and faith, a third invisible force is created, a kind of spiritual strength that helps them achieve far more than they could on their own. It's belief multiplied. And then, there's his most famous line, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Let's break that down. Conceive means to imagine it, to picture it clearly in your mind. Believe means to trust it, to feel it, as possible, even if it hasn't happened yet. And achieve means to turn that invisible idea into something real. Hill didn't say conceive and wish, he said conceive and believe. That's the difference between daydreaming and creation. To Hill, belief wasn't just a feeling, it was an energy that shapes every action you take. When you believe in something deeply, your body follows. You make different choices. You take risks. You stay calm when things go wrong. Keep going when most people quit. That's what belief does. It builds persistence. It gives power to your purpose. So, the real message behind Think and Grow Rich is simple but life-changing. Before you can grow rich in money, you must grow rich in belief. You must learn to trust your vision, even when no one else sees it yet. Because that's what every great success story begins with. Belief in the unseen. Belief. It sounds simple, doesn't it? A word we hear all the time. But belief is the heartbeat of Think and Grow Rich. It's the engine that drives every idea Napoleon Hill shared. Without belief, desire dies. Without belief, effort fades. And without belief, even the best plan in the world will collapse the first time life gets hard. Hill said that belief is the bridge between your thoughts and your reality. And if that bridge is weak, nothing you imagine will ever cross over into the real world. Think about it. Every person who's ever achieved something great started with belief. Edison believed he could create a light bulb even after failing more than 1,000 times. The Wright brothers believed humans could fly when the whole world laughed at them. Henry Ford believed he could build a car that the average person could afford when no one else thought it was possible. Their success didn't come from luck or money. It came from the power of belief. They didn't wait to see proof. They acted as if success was already on its way. Belief changes everything. It changes how you see challenges. When someone without belief faces a problem, they see a wall. When someone with belief faces the same problem, they see a lesson. The obstacle doesn't shrink, their mindset grows. That's what makes belief so powerful. It doesn't make life easy, but it makes you stronger. It keeps you moving forward when fear tells you to stop. Napoleon Hill called this faith. But he didn't mean faith in a religious sense. He meant a deep, personal trust in your own mind, a certainty that you are capable of achieving what you set your heart on. Hill said, faith is the only known antidote to failure. Why? Because when you believe, your brain starts to work differently. You start noticing possibilities that were always there but hidden behind doubt. You begin to take small steps that add up. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it. And here's the amazing part. Belief doesn't just affect your thoughts, it changes your body. Modern science backs this up. When you believe you can do something, your brain releases chemicals that boost your confidence, focus, and motivation. But when you doubt yourself, your body goes into defense mode. You hold back, you freeze. So, belief is not just an idea, it's energy. It's a signal to your mind and body, saying, let's go. Now, think about how this connects to your own life. How many times have you stopped yourself before you even tried? Maybe you wanted to start a business, but you told yourself, it's too risky. Maybe you dreamed of changing careers, but said BHS, I'm not ready. Maybe you wanted to speak up, create or build something new, but that small voice inside whispered, you can't. That voice isn't truth, it's fear disguised as logic. And Think and Grow Rich teaches you how to silence it by building belief. Hill explained that belief starts with imagination. You first picture what you want in your mind. Then, you feed that image every day with emotion, through words, thoughts, and focus. The more you think about it, the more real it becomes to your subconscious mind. And once your subconscious accepts it as true, it starts guiding your actions automatically. You begin to move in the direction of your belief without even realizing it. Why people say success begins in the mind, because your outer world always follows your inner world. But here's the catch, belief doesn't grow overnight. It takes time, repetition, and persistence. Hill compared it to planting a seed. You don't plant it today and expect fruit tomorrow. You water it daily with positive thoughts, confidence, and action. Even when you don't see progress, you keep going because you trust the process. And one day, that belief turns into visible success. This is what separates dreamers from achievers. Dreamers wish things would happen. Achievers believe they will, and act accordingly. That's S.Y. Hill wrote, that faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. Because when you believe, you take action, and when you act, you create results. So, belief isn't magic, but it feels like it. It's the hidden force behind every success story, big or small. It's what makes people rise after failure, try again, and finally win. Once you master belief, you stop asking, can I do it? And start saying, how can I make it happen? Napoleon Hill called it the invisible formula, the hidden pattern behind every success story. It's not magic, and it's not luck, it's a process, one that begins deep inside your mind. He discovered that when a person follows this formula with belief and persistence, success eventually follows. It may take time. It may look impossible at first, but the results are always the same. Your thoughts turn into reality. Hill broke this invisible formula into clear steps. It begins with desire. Everything starts with a strong want, not a wish, but a burning need. He said, desire is the starting point of all achievement. Without desire, you'll never have the energy to keep going. Desire gives you direction. It gives your mind something to aim at. But desire alone isn't enough. It must be followed by faith, belief that what you want can actually happen. That's the spark that turns a thought into movement. Then comes autosuggestion. This is where the real work happens, training your subconscious mind to accept your belief as truth. Hill taught that your mind listens to the words you repeat most often. If you constantly say, I can't, your brain believes it. But if you keep repeating, I will, it starts to build evidence to support that belief. The words you speak to yourself every day shape your future. The next part of the formula is specialized knowledge. Hill didn't mean school knowledge, he meant practical, focused knowledge related to your goal. You, have to know everything, just the few things that matter most to what you want. The difference between ordinary knowledge and specialized knowledge is like the difference between a flashlight and a laser. One spreads light everywhere, the other cuts through steel. Then comes imagination. Hill called it the workshop of the mind. Every success you see in the world, every invention, every building, every business, started in someone's imagination. They pictured something that didn't exist yet. Imagination is your ability to see the invisible. And when belief joins imagination, you begin to create new realities. Next is organized planning. This is where thought turns into action. It's about building a step-by-step plan to reach your goal and adjusting it as you learn. Sil said plans rarely work perfectly at first, but persistence turns them into success. Most people quit after 1 or 2 failures. The few who keep refining their plans are the ones who win. Then comes decision. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Unsuccessful people do the opposite. They delay decisions and change their minds all the time. Every time you make a firm decision, you strengthen your belief. Doubt weakens action. Decision fuels it. The next step is persistence. Hill said that persistence is to belief what fuel is to fire. Without it, everything goes cold. Everyone faces failure, but the ones who keep moving are the ones who eventually win. Failure isn't the end, it's a test of belief. If you keep going when everything says stop, success becomes a matter of time. Finally, Hill talked about the mastermind surrounding yourself with people who share your vision and energy. He said no one succeeds alone. When you join your belief with others who believe in you, the combined energy becomes unstoppable. It's like a small fire joining another together. They become a blaze.